Every second, hundreds of Red Bull cans are opened around the world. But what hides behind that iconic aluminum silhouette? How is the drink made that became a symbol of energy, speed, and boldness? Welcome to the heart of production, a place almost no one gets to see. Behind massive gates and sterile chambers begins the journey that transforms basic chemical compounds into one of the most recognizable beverages on the planet. The process doesn't begin with cans, not even with ingredients. It all starts with air, quite literally. The air in this facility is filtered, sterilized, and monitored to a tenth of a degree. Every molecule must be in its place because the slightest deviation can affect taste, composition, and the drink's long-term stability. The first, and perhaps most mysterious, ingredient is taurine. Despite the persistent myths, it has nothing to do with bulls or their anatomy. This is a synthetic compound, produced under laboratory conditions. Under a microscope, it appears as flawless crystals, shaped like tiny snowflakes. But its job isn't to energize, as many believe. It actually stabilizes. Taurine helps the brain avoid overstimulation, balancing focus and calm. Next comes caffeine, but not from coffee beans. It's a fine white powder, visually similar to powdered sugar. Here, it's handled in hermetically sealed systems and weighed with milligram-level precision. Why such exactness? Because even a few milligrams can alter the drink's entire effect. Right nearby is the B vitamin section: B3, B5, B6, and B12. These compounds support energy metabolism, nervous system function, and immunity. They arrive in concentrated form and are diluted under strict supervision. Each global market requires a slightly different formulation due to local regulations. Following that is glucuronolactone, one of the drink's most underrated ingredients. It plays a vital role in detoxification, and like taurine, it's synthetically produced, not derived from animal tissues, contrary to popular belief. But what's the point of all this chemistry without water? Red Bull uses water that goes through multiple filtration and mineralization stages. The source, the Alpine Mountain System. But this isn't just a marketing gimmick. The water is refined through filters, UV light, and ion balancing until it achieves a perfectly neutral taste and consistent mineral content, whether in Europe, Asia, or America. Now comes sweetness. For the original formula, Red Bull uses specially calibrated sugar crystals. Their size affects how quickly they dissolve and, surprisingly, how the drink feels in the mouth. Sugar-free variants use alternative sweeteners, each of which is tested with spectroscopic analysis. After all ingredients pass inspection, they're sent to the factory's core, the mixing zone. Here, towering steel tanks, reminiscent of science fiction, are connected by a labyrinth of pipes, pumps, and valves. Inside, it's a ballet of chemistry and technology. First, water and sugar are combined, heated, and blended. This creates the base solution. Engineers monitor its density, temperature, and dissolved solids. If any parameter deviates even by 0.1%, the system automatically halts. Next, the active ingredients are added: taurine, caffeine, vitamins, acids, each with precise timing. Why? Because some compounds are unstable and could degrade if introduced at the wrong moment or temperature. To keep everything synchronized, glycol-filled cooling jackets wrap around the tanks. The system can adjust the temperature in seconds, preserving the drink's molecular integrity. And finally, carbonation. Carbon dioxide is injected under high pressure to achieve Red Bull's signature fizz. Too little, and the drink falls flat. Too much, and the cans may burst. Engineers calibrate the system down to hundredths of an atmosphere. At this point, the drink still isn't ready. It undergoes flash pasteurization, a rapid heating process that lasts just a few seconds, long enough to destroy harmful bacteria, but short enough to preserve the drink's unique flavor. Sensors monitor this step with 0.1-degree accuracy. After pasteurization, the drink is ready, but its journey to the store shelf is far from over. The next stage is filling. This is where the liquid finally becomes a product. Before even a single drop enters a can, the empty containers undergo intense inspection. Thousands of aluminum cans move along the conveyor, but each one is scanned by high-speed cameras. Algorithms analyze them for microcracks, dents, smudges, and even the slightest seam imperfections. Just one flaw, and the can is immediately rejected. Why so much attention to the container? Because Red Bull is a pressurized product. The drink is carbonated, hermetically sealed, and highly sensitive to external conditions. Even the smallest leak could compromise flavor, quality, or shelf life. Before filling, every can goes through a cleaning and drying cycle. Then, it's filled, not by simple pouring, but under controlled pressure. First, nitrogen is injected to displace oxygen and prevent oxidation, preserving the flavor. Then comes the liquid, dispensed down to hundredths of a milliliter. The process is incredibly fast, thousands of cans per minute, but the precision remains surgical. Next up, the lid. Specialized machines press the lid onto the top of the can in 2 stages. First sealing it, then rolling the seam to perfection. The resulting seal must withstand internal pressure for months, even years, without fail. Once sealed, each can goes through another round of inspections. First is the weight check. Any deviation over 0.5 grams triggers an automatic rejection. Then comes the pressure test. Cans are subjected to micropressurization. If even a tiny leak is detected, off the line it goes. But it doesn't end there. A 360-degree visual inspection follows. Robotic arms with cameras scan each can from every angle, checking labels, print quality, and structural integrity. Even a small scratch or a misaligned print can be reason enough to pull the product. Once cans pass all quality checks, they move to laser marking. Each can is etched with a batch number, production date, and time. This isn't just a formality, it's a critical part of Red Bull's traceability system. If a problem ever arises, the company can pinpoint exactly where and when a can was produced, and react immediately. Now the drink is finally complete. It's packaging, a technological marvel in itself. Cans are grouped automatically into packs of 4, 6, or 24, then wrapped in shrink film or packed into cartons. Next, palletizing. Robotic arms stack the packs into flawless layers, optimized for storage and transport. Warehouse areas resemble gigantic refrigerators. Temperature and humidity are strictly monitored. Each batch is logged into a digital system. Then comes logistics. Red Bull is shipped to over 170 countries. This means millions of cans are moving across the globe every day. To shorten delivery times and reduce the carbon footprint, the company uses a global network of distribution centers. Some in Europe, others in Asia, and more across the Americas. The goal is simple: ensure the product reaches the consumer as fresh as possible. Transportation is handled by thermal containers and specialized trucks. Every step is tracked via GPS. Temperature sensors ensure the product doesn't overheat or freeze during transit. Even short deviations are logged and analyzed. But Red Bull is more than just a beverage. It's an image, a philosophy, a lifestyle. The drink itself is only the tip of the iceberg. Red Bull's factories also house departments for design, marketing, and their own R&D labs, working on new flavors, formulas, and innovations. Behind the mechanical precision and industrial rhythm is a team of experts constantly testing, improving, and planning the future. Thousands of cans per minute, billions each year, and not a single one can be almost right. Each must be perfect in taste, composition, appearance, and shelf life. Behind this stands an army of engineers, technicians, chemists, and operators. Their work stays hidden, but it's what makes Red Bull what it is. Now picture this. You open a can. You hear that familiar click, that soft fizz. That sound is the result of thousands of processes, hundreds of decisions, dozens of engineering solutions, and millions of dollars invested. 1 second of enjoyment, backed by years of innovation to make it happen. Red Bull isn't just a drink. It's a symbol of an era, a driving force of global marketing, and one of the most recognizable cans on the planet. But how does a brand maintain such a reputation for decades? The answer lies in flawless quality control, constant technological innovation, and the creation of a unique consumer experience. Red Bull's production lines aren't just conveyor belts. They are living systems where every element matters, from sterile environments to machine vision programs, from chemical analysis to robotic logistics. But their ambitions don't stop there. Red Bull is one of the few beverages that doesn't just sell. It becomes part of culture. It's an entire universe encompassing extreme sports, music, esports, film, and even science. Every new batch released is just one part of a much larger machine. The company has its own film crews, studios, and production teams. And all of it works in sync with manufacturing. Because to Red Bull, it's not just what you drink, but how you feel when you drink it. Red Bull isn't just a product, it's an identity. It's associated with energy, risk, boldness, youth, and challenge. When you hold that can in your hand, you're participating in a kind of ideological manifesto. And behind it all, engineering power. The Red Bull can isn't just packaging, it's the result of years of development. Its shape manages thermal transfer. Its weight and durability are engineered down to the gram. And its internal coating prevents oxidation to preserve flavor. Its creation is a complex technological chain. Aluminum is stamped, drawn, formed, coated, and inspected. Only then is it filled with the drink. Now let's talk about what really matters: sustainability. In recent years, Red Bull has invested heavily in sustainable development. Its factories are powered by renewable energy sources, and every part of its packaging is 100% recyclable. But like any global company, Red Bull faces its share of criticism. Billions of cans produced annually, millions of kilometers of transport routes, logistics, manufacturing, consumption. It all adds up to a burden on the planet. That's why Red Bull is developing lighter cans, reducing packaging weight, optimizing shipping routes, and modernizing its water purification systems. They even publish carbon footprint reports. But here's the question: how green can an energy drink really be? One that's sold on every continent and in virtually every supermarket. The company is doing its part, but the real answer lies not only in their actions, but also in our choices. Think it's just a beverage? Look closer. Red Bull is a model for how marketing, engineering, science, and psychology can merge into a single product. It's a rolling laboratory, live-action advertising, and a performance that starts long before you crack the can. It's an energy drink sold as a product, but felt as an experience. The idea of giving you wings isn't just a slogan. It's the formula behind the brand's entire communication. Red Bull is a feeling you experience before, during, and after consumption. It's the visual style, the campaigns, the events that whisper, "You can do more. You are capable of more." At every level, from design to distribution, the company builds an ecosystem where every detail serves one purpose: to create an experience. Not just to satisfy a need, but to make you remember the taste, the moment, the emotion. Today, Red Bull is produced in the billions annually. But despite the scale, every single can goes through more than 30 stages of control. Over 100 parameters are monitored during every production cycle, from solution density and gas pressure to laser marking accuracy. Even post-packaging, cans are scanned, weighed, and tested. Each batch is like a graduation project, except instead of a diploma, there's a blue and silver can, marked by two Red Bulls charging toward one another. And now, you hold a can of Red Bull in your hand. Behind this moment, months of development, miles of pipeline, hundreds of tests, dozens of labs. This is a product that has become part of global infrastructure. You open it and hear the hiss of pressure. That's not just gas. That's the sound of engineering perfection. In that moment, you become part of a story. The story of a drink that began with a tired businessman in Asia and became a cultural phenomenon. 1 second, and the can is empty. But behind that second is an entire industry. And now, you know how it works.